All right, we are live. Welcome back to Ask Me Anything Sunday session. How are you guys? How are you? Okay, well, you see, so fast, it's already the first weekend. Is it the first or second weekend of July? You see, we are now so fast into the second half of the year, and without realizing, 2 weekends just flew by. So, what have we done? What have you done? You see, it's very important for us to constantly looking at the progress. You see, something that I have not been really tracking on my progress for a while, especially, I've been wanting to do something like writing a book, and I have kind of like shelving this thing for a while. But over this weekend, I finally started writing, continue writing my book. Actually, we reached to a certain point, and then I got distracted doing something else and all that. And because this weekend we had a little bit of time, I had a little bit of time, so I finally, really put aside everything else and dive into the whole idea of writing this book. So I promise you that the book is gonna be out by in a week time. You see, I'm doing this like this kind of commitment. It's gonna be hitting the Amazon Kindle bookstore in a week time. The reason why we put it up on Amazon because I seriously don't know where else to put. And so far on my hand, I only have Amazon on my hand. So it seems like a very interesting platform. Never tried publishing a ebook like this before, so I figured I'm maybe just gonna try it out with the lowest hanging fruit because Kindle publishing has been around for a while and it looks like very easy to publish. But of course, I'm going to go through this whole process and I'm going to share with you if there's anything that I want to share with you. Probably there will be some learning that it's worth sharing. Maybe after this, I can come up with another program to teach you how to publish your own ebook. Because in my opinion, the idea of publishing an ebook, when I had the idea of publishing an ebook, it was really about documenting whatever that is in my head. You see, and for some reason, right? I mean, that was the initial thought, and up to now, when I'm writing this ebook, in fact, I'm actually kind of like I would say, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Now, the reason why we published this book is because I wanted to actually really record and kind of like put what is in my head onto paper so that people can read it. Because in my opinion, there are certain people who prefers to learn by reading. Definitely not really my style because I prefer to listen and watch not movie, sorry, watch videos and all that. But I would say some people prefers to learn through reading. So I was thinking, for all these key learning that I've gathered over the years, it's really good for us to start penning things down onto paper and to help this group of people to learn. And after I started writing it, I realized, in fact, publishing a book is just not just about penning down what's in your head or probably trying to put things into a more structured way for people to learn. I think it's also a very important way of establishing yourself as an expert in an industry. You see, like for my case, I leverage a lot on YouTube to establish myself as an expert. But then again, there are still people who prefers to read. So for these people, if they are not onto like learning through YouTube and all that, they probably won't be able to learn from me. So when you have a book, you actually kind of like have another title, which is an author. And an author gives weight to people, especially in the conventional marketing, where people still look up to a person who have published a book. So that gives me a little bit of kind of like a push because to be frank, it's not really about a whatever status and all that, but it's kind of interesting to see myself having another title. So yeah, over the weekend I spent a lot of time diving into this thing, and because whatever that I was writing was really about Facebook ads analytics. So this book is called The Numbers That Matter, and the step-by-step guide to analyzing Facebook ads results. That's what I'm going to call it. So the numbers that matter, the step-by-step guide to analyzing Facebook ads results. So the whole idea here is I'm going to put down whatever I learned when it comes to Facebook ads analytics. And the idea of putting up this book is to really give, especially new Facebook advertisers, the fundamental understanding on the key metrics that really matter to your Facebook ads campaign. So when I'm actually putting up this ebook, right, I actually kind of like stumble upon, or so-called I myself stumble upon some questions that are worth discussing. So since today we don't have any questions, I'm just going to bring it up here and have a bit of discussion about all these topics. But let's talk about the book a little bit. So this book is not going to be very lengthy. The idea here is I'm going to control it within maybe like 5 to 7,000 words. It's a tool book. I would rather say it's not really like it's a reference book, and it is supposed to be a book that can help you achieve what is set to achieve. Meaning, it's supposed to teach you how to analyze Facebook ads. That's it, period. And then move on. You can actually do something else without relying much on the book itself. So basically, the book is a tool book, in my opinion, or rather anything that you are calling it, or reference book. It's really to serve a very, very specific purpose. So while I'm actually writing this book, I sort of having this toying with this idea whether I want to actually expand it to make it into like a more like a comprehensive learning where it involves more into the thought process of making decision with the numbers and all that. But I guess if I actually go into that, it may make this book a little bit too extensive, and it may not be that effective for, let's say, new Facebook advertisers. So I'm breaking the whole book into two parts. So the first part is really about giving you the idea about, the fundamental idea about all the numbers that matters to your business, to your Facebook ads campaign, and how to analyze it, how to make sense of it, what are the benchmark of it, to help you get started, to help you get familiarized, to help you gain the kind of fundamental understanding you need to understand the performance of your Facebook ads campaign. So we're going to start with that, and then the next book that I'm going to come out with is really to dive into the thought process. So I would say that one is more for advanced Facebook advertisers, whereby you probably have been running ads for a while and you know the numbers already. And the next step is really about, building your action funnel, whereby it's about really illustrating the steps, from being a prospect into a customer. So that's the part. And then I'm going to also share with you the thought process of how you make decision. Let's say, for example, like we call this the cross metric, so-called analytics, such as how do we combine CPM and CTR, to look at the overall situation that we are at, and how do we make decision based on that. So that's another part of the book. So yeah, so this first book that is going to come out by this week, okay, it's going to be in a week time, is more on the fundamental. So it's going to hit Amazon Kindle. I know Kindle is not available in our part of the world, but I guess it's still available. If you want to buy, you can. And I'm actually going to explore some other platforms that can host this ebook. So I'm just going to put it somewhere else that you guys can buy, and I'm going to share with you the link to buy if you want to. All right. So it's going to be very, very cheap. The idea here is not to make money. It's about pricing it nice enough for people to come in and learn, and eventually, to be able to come into my universe and learn more things that I have got to offer, right? So that's the whole idea. So yeah, wait for it. It's going to come. So today I want to quickly look at a few topics, or so-called, like topics that I want to discuss. But before we dive into that, just want to quickly highlight about the upcoming training program. This is a 2-day live training that I'm going to conduct via Zoom. And we're going to dive into the TikTok ads. So if TikTok ads is really something that you've been exploring or thinking to explore, this is definitely a very good training program that you should join, because in this program itself, this is going to be a 2-day, 25th and 26th of July, 2:30 p.m. to about 4:30 p.m. Okay, Malaysia time. So in 2 days time, I'm going to break down to you. In the first day, I'm going to share with you step-by-step walkthrough on how to set up TikTok ads, including maybe even starting from the step of creating your TikTok ad account. If you're not familiar with this, I'm going to walk you through that as well. So creating a TikTok ad account, parking your payment, and then, setting up the whole TikTok ads campaign from scratch. So that's what we're going to cover in the first day. And after that, on day 2, I'm going to cover something that goes beyond TikTok ads. You see, I've been advocating about cross-platform, omni-channel advertising strategy, because to be frank, Facebook advertising is no longer the only place you should be focusing on when it comes to your digital advertising strategy. Simply because first thing first is Facebook ads is getting too big. All right, it is still one of the main platform that everybody is paying attention to, but it's also getting too big, and it's in a way getting a little bit more cocky. Like some of my clients are having, constantly having this issue of having an ad account disabled by Facebook and all these kind of nonsense that are really happening. So I think it's time for us to look beyond Facebook. So even when you start your journey, let's say, for example, it might be beneficial to start TikTok because if your audience are already flocking to TikToks, then of course you got to be where your audience hang out. But of course, the benefit of having able to connect these platforms together is you're able to then create an omni-channel advertising strategy. So the idea here is you can actually, capture your audience on TikTok and then retargeting them on Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, I mean, sorry, I forgot to put up this link. So if you guys want to join, this is the link. Just go to tribeacademy.com/TikTok-ads-workshop, and you'll be able to just go over and sign up for this program. So this is the 2-day program, and you get the recording. So the whole idea here is moving forward, whatever training program that I'll be running via Zoom, I'm going to throw in the recording. You don't need to buy separately. The whole thing is coming together. Why? Because in my opinion, when it comes to this kind of digital advertising, we probably need to watch it several times to really get a better hang of it. So if you need to rewatch it over and over again to get familiarized with the whole steps, or you want to share it with your team, yep, you got it covered. Everything is part of this. Okay. So TikTok, tribeacademy.com/TikTok-ads.workshop. So this is where you can actually just go over and sign up for this program. Now, like I said, while I was actually writing my ebook, which is about 80, 90, 80, 70, 80% done. We're gonna roll out by next week, hitting the maybe Amazon first and other stores coming. Basically, while I was actually writing the book, I actually kind of like discovered some questions that are more commonly asked by Facebook advertisers. And I think it's gonna be beneficial for us to discuss over here. So what I'm actually doing this, I don't have any question today captured from my YouTube channel and all that. That's why we're gonna make this a very casual one. We're just gonna have a chit chat session over here. But if you have any questions at all, feel free to pop in the chat, and I'm gonna bring it up, and we can actually answer your questions as we move along. Now, the first to discuss here is this. This is one of the most frequently asked questions that I get from Facebook advertisers. So when should we change Facebook ads? When should we change Facebook ads? The reason why a lot of people are asking these questions because they always constantly have this fear of ad fatigue, so-called, and people are getting bored with their ad creative already. And this could be, in their opinion, this could be one of the main reasons why their Facebook ads campaign stopped working. Okay, so let's go head on this question first. Now, when should we change Facebook ads? Now, there are several answers to this. Okay, now the first answer is you change your Facebook ads only after your ad has reached your audience by maybe 50% and above. So let's say, for example, when you're setting up a Facebook ads campaign, right, it's very important for you to actually put your audience, your estimated audience size as part of your ad set naming, because a lot of people don't put in there. So after you run this campaign for a while, you don't know how big is the estimated audience size that you are set to target. So let's say, for example, okay, if your audience size, the estimated audience size that you're targeting is about 5 million, for example, and then after running this campaign for 3 months and you have reached about 700,000 people. So 700,000 people divided by 5 million, that's only about less than 15%, 15% of the total audience that you are supposed to be targeting. So when it comes to this kind of situation, my short answer would be definitely it is not time yet for you to change ad creative because it hasn't even reached 50%. You see, that's why one thing that you have to understand here is sometimes the ad fatigue may not be real. Sometimes your fear of having your ad, people are getting bored with your ad may not be real because it is really you thinking about this thing yourself. You are actually thinking about it. But then again, it is really about how do you really understand the ratio of the people that you have reached. So you have to actually, strike a balance with this. So it's always beneficial to put the audience, the estimated audience size that you're trying to target in your ad set naming so that you can, immediately know how many percent you have reached. Say 3 months, like I mentioned just now, right? If you 3 months time, you only reach about 700,000 people out of 5 million, then your campaign has got room. Your ad, as long as it's still performing, you should keep pushing because it is still very far from the fatigue that you are imagining yourself. Now, the second angle to look at this is like the second situation on when you should be changing Facebook ads is when your CTR, okay, has been in decline for at least 2 weeks. So when you are running Facebook ads, right, there are certain metrics that you must actually monitor. All right. In the book that I'm actually coming up, we talk about all these metrics, key metrics that you have to monitor. But then again, one thing that is very important is what we call the CTR. CTR stands for click-through rate. Now, there are two sets of CTR, CTR all and CTR link click. Now, CTR all is really the percentage of people who click on anything on the advertisement itself, including the play video button, the like button, the comment button, and even to click on your profile to go into your page and to stalk on you whether you are real or not, right? So yeah, that's the CTR all, and CTR link click is really the percentage of people who click on the call to action or any link that you have included in your main copywriting. So as long as your CTR all and link click are intact, right? I mean, our benchmark is 2% and 1%, right? CTR all has to be 2% and above, and CTR link click has to be 1% and above, right? So as long as your CTR is intact, the campaign can still run for long term. But if it has been in decline, let's say used to be 2% and 1%, and all of a sudden it started to become like 1.5 and 0.8, and on the following week it become 1.4 and 0.7, something like that. So if it has been in decline for 2 weeks in a row, of course we need to monitor some other metrics such as the cost per result, the conversion rate. But chances are you have already reached a point where your ad has become kind of like fatigue among your audience. It could be because your audience size that you're targeting may not be big enough, or you are running a retargeting campaign. But nonetheless, with these kind of 2 weeks data coming in, it could be a good indicator that it's time to change your creative. All right. So I gave you two angles to look at this. First thing first is to look at your estimated audience size. As long as you have not reached 50% of them, I believe your campaign can still go on. As long as the results and everything is still coming in good, do not worry, you see, when your result is working, when your campaign is working. Now, the other angle is when your CTR all and link click has been in decline for 2 weeks in a row, that could be a sign that you should start looking into refreshing your creative. But nonetheless, like I mentioned just now, as long as your campaign is still performing, getting you the result that you want at a cost that you're comfortable with, keep pushing. Do not worry about fatigue while it probably is not happening yet, as you probably are worried, about. Okay. All right. So that's the first discussion that I have, but immediately we have a question over here, so I just want to quickly bring it up. I think this is a very, very good question. This is a very good question. Rohit is asking, don't you think that the Facebook ads is dead? Thank you for the question, Rohit. Now, my answer is yes and no. You see, put it this way. A lot of people also talk about Google ads is dying donkey years ago. Okay, they talk about Google ads is dying donkey years ago because they say that people stop going to Google anymore, and then people stop going to YouTube anymore, and now people are talking about people stop going to Facebook anymore because people are all flocking to where else, like TikTok and any other social platforms that is really trending and rising among certain people. So my answer here is this: in my opinion, Facebook ads is definitely in the decline right now. Okay, as in like more and more people are flocking to platforms like TikTok, and then we also know that YouTube is really rising strongly, especially after the pandemic. It has gotten so much traction that really the TikTok ads and TikTok revenue, I mean, we are having a monetized channel. Really, we are making money from TikTok ads, I mean, as well. It's really a very, in a way, a growing business model still. So if you ask me, I would say it is not just about Facebook ads dying or not. Excuse me. It is actually about the platform fragmentation that is really happening. So what is platform fragmentation? It's really a situation where people start to flock to platforms that they prefer. Like there are more and more people spend more time on TikTok right now, for example. But when they spend more time on TikTok, my argument here is it does not mean that they stop coming back to Facebook and Instagram. You see, the idea here is we start going to multiple platforms right now. We are no longer that loyal like last time. Probably not because we are of being loyal. I think it's because at that point of time we did not have a lot of choices. So Facebook was big, Instagram was big, but now people have other platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Shorts, and all these things are coming in. I think people are aware about the choices that they have. But of course, like I mentioned just now, when you spend more time on TikTok doesn't mean that you stop coming back to Facebook and Instagram, because the way we consume content on each platform is also different. Like for example, I always like to tell people, you go TikTok not to see your friends dancing. You'll feel annoyed and you'll feel weird when you start seeing your friends dancing. You'll probably unfollow your friend because that's not what you set to watch. You're there to watch really like strangers videos and all that. All right. So that's where you are on TikTok, because you want to be entertained, you want to watch fresh content. But when you go to Facebook and Instagram, you're trying to actually connect with your friends. You want to see what your friends are up to, what they eat for lunch, where they go for vacation, what they talk about. So, and also when it comes to buying intent or buying behavior, people are more into consuming ads on Facebook and Instagram because they are used to it. On TikTok, the buying habit may not be cultivated yet. So, if you ask me, is Facebook dying? I would say it's not about Facebook dying or not. It's about the platform fragmentation. And I guess moving forward as a digital advertiser, it's a lot more important for us to start looking at platforms as, tools at our arsenal, things that excuse me, things that we can actually use to our advantage and achieve the goal that we want. Like for example, I started teaching about TikTok ads. All right, I started also teaching about YouTube ads because this is where my audience hang out. So I just gotta be at the place where they hang out, and then we bring them in, and then we build a journey that we are able to actually build a more meaningful, nurturing journey, okay, for us to warm our audience up and get them ready to buy from us. So it's more on that. So Rohit, thanks for the question. Whether it's Facebook ads dead, in my opinion, it's still far from dead. But of course, the platform fragmentation is going to give Facebook some challenges. But nonetheless, I guess it's time for advertisers to start looking at, omni-channel advertising right now instead of just solely on one platform and whatnot. Okay, so thanks. Okay, thanks Rohit for the question. And sorry, I can't read this. I can't read your name. Apologize. But what you're saying here is, do you think Facebook ads has no logic? It restrict ad accounts with no law. I can feel you totally, because to be frank, a lot of my clients are still facing this issue. But here's a few things you don't do. All right. First thing first, you don't advertise something that Facebook do not allow. Definitely, because as yes, they are becoming very big and they actually can do things that they want and they like. So as long as we still need their platform to run ads and to reach our audience, we have to play by their rules. So I think the rule number one is, do not advertise anything that is not allowed by Facebook. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, when you want to really run ads, you create an ad account from a business manager created from your personal profile. You do not simply create a lot of new profile because you want to create multiple ad accounts. It doesn't work that way anymore. It's very important for you to actually protect yourself. As in, like, you got to protect first your Facebook profile, which is linked to your Facebook ad account, as well as linked to your Facebook business manager account. Everything is actually linked. You just have to make sure that you protect. And actually, in most of the time, right, when Facebook restrict your ad account, or you restrict your so-called disable your ad account, most of the time, the first thing you need to do is to look at, is there any option for you to actually start appearing or asking for review? Usually, the first thing that they will ask you to do is to submit your ID. So follow the steps. Get your account we call it verified, not validated. Excuse me. You get your account verified, and then usually, if everything is good, you should be able to get your account back. So it's just so happen, if your account is not is restricted, then no choice. Like some of my clients, they are facing this issue as well. A long time Facebook profile, more than 10 years, but just because it was hacked and they just proof it. So with that, no choice. You have to rebuild everything from scratch again. So I think you have to go through the process where create a profile, and then really start posting something, be real, and then don't rush into things one step at a time. But of course, you have other options. If you really need to continue running ads, you can actually borrow someone else's profile to create business manager on the other side, to start running ads. So basically, it's all good. There are many ways of working around. All right. So I guess we just have to find the best way. But nonetheless, rule number one, back to the square one, is do not do anything that is not allowed by Facebook. So that's what I would suggest you guys to do. All right. Thanks for the question. And we have Vegan Future. Now, Vegan Future is saying you finally got leads for your client, okay, with Facebook form, 5 leads in 4 days. Now, for almost 3 days, not a single lead. What should you do? Very good question. Basically, when it comes to this kind of situation, we really need to look at what is really happening. You see, 3 days without lead, okay, may be normal. We just have to go in and see within the last 3 days, okay, how was the number going for your campaign? All right, so I would say you go into the campaign, the ads manager, look at a few things. First thing first, you check your CPM, you check your CTR, and you check your frequency, and you check the number of clicks that was really generated by the campaign itself, and you want to know where your audience fall off. Let's say, for example, you have really good CTR and you have a lot of clicks, but it's just that in the past few days, we have very little people, or almost like you say, 3 days without a lead, meaning that people are clicking, people are opening the lead form, just that people are not submitting lead. So with this kind of situation, I guess it's actually normal. We just have to wait for it to happen again. And especially if you're not spending a sizable amount of money, as in you're spending a very, let's say, a few dollars a day, you're not spending a lot. It may take some time for the campaign to exit learning, because while you're actually running campaign, at times you get result, at times you don't. Facebook is actually constantly learning and trying to get you more results as they can. So sometimes, especially when you're having a lower budget, it's beneficial to actually, run your ad a little bit. Okay, 20 euro a day, that's not very little. Yeah, in this case, I guess we have to look at the numbers itself. But Vegan, can I actually suggest that you come over and sign up for a one-on-one audit? We have this one-on-one audit, which is actually like a half an hour session where we will go through your Facebook ads campaign to see what is going on. And I'm going to give you some suggestions about how you can actually improvise your campaign and see if there's anything that you can do to do better with your campaign. This is really something that I've been working with a lot of Facebook advertisers from all around the world to really audit. We call it the Facebook ads audit, as in like, I'm going to dive into your campaign. We are going to dive into your campaign for half an hour, and we're going to look at the numbers, and we're going to come out with a plan on how can we optimize this. So Vegan Future, I would suggest, if it's within means, consider taking this up, and let's go through a half an hour session to really analyze your Facebook ads campaign. So I'm going to give you some suggestions on how you can improvise it. And of course, we're going to have a plan that we can actually do better with our campaign itself. So yeah, Vegan, thanks for the question. And here is the link for you to sign up. I guess that will lead us to the end of this session. It's always fun to have half an hour every week with you guys. The idea here of doing this every week, I've been doing this for like many weeks now. 80 over weeks. This is 83 or 82. So for 80 over weeks, we have been answering a lot of questions from you about Facebook advertising and digital marketing. And in fact, over here, I do not just cover Facebook ads. I also cover YouTube ads and TikTok ads as I can. And feel free to pop any questions you have on any of my YouTube videos. And I'm going to capture them and bring them over to answer them over here. So if you ask any questions on my YouTube videos, do not expect me to come in and reply to you. But instead, I'm going to bring them over and answer questions over here in every Sunday night during my AMA. So that's how I do things right now. Okay, so yeah. All right, I guess that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah. All right, somebody say you have question. Florinda, how can I help you? What's the question? What's your question? I'm going to give you another 10 seconds to type your question. Else you will have to ask your question, and I'm going to answer it next week. Okay, we are time's up, but nonetheless, since you're here, I'm going to give you maybe 30 seconds to type your question before we go. Come. Do it quick. Come, do it. Where's your question? Okay, got it. Florinda is asking, is Facebook Reel just the same as TikTok? Well, okay. Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels are Facebook and Instagram's answers to TikTok. So if you ask me, the format is very similar. Okay, Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels, the experience of browsing content or consuming content is very similar, whereby the moment you get into that, it will start scrolling and it will start feeding you content that you might be interested in. So short answer, yes, they are supposed to be the same. Yeah. But then again, I would say because each platform has got its own algorithm on, how they surface or how they select content for you to consume. So I guess it's pretty much about how they will evolve into it. And really, like I said, Facebook Reel and Instagram Reels, they are very similar. They are very similar to TikTok. Okay. And you're talking about what? TikTok ads. They are different. But TikTok ads is actually, the way TikTok ads work is definitely a bit different compared to Facebook ad. Okay, and TikTok ads has different set of audience targeting settings and stuff like that, and they are different things. Oh, you're asking TikTok ads cannot come to a Facebook Reel? Of course, it's a different platform, my friend. TikTok is TikTok, Facebook is Facebook. So if you want to learn TikTok ads only appear on TikTok. Facebook ads only appear on Facebook. So I guess these are two different platforms. Okay, but if you want to learn Facebook ads if you want to learn TikTok ads, I have a TikTok ads training program coming up. So this is where you can actually go over to my website, which is what do we call that? Hang on, give me a second. Go to tribeupacademy.com/TikTok-ads-workshop. So this is where you can actually, we can learn this together. It's gonna be Zoom training, live training on the 25th and 26th of July. 2 more weeks to go, and it's gonna be a 2-day training, about 2 hours each day, and I'm gonna walk through how to really run TikTok ads. And it's going to be very exciting. So I started experiment with TikTok ads last month, and I think I like what I see. I'm going to share with you how to set up TikTok ads with step-by-step walkthrough. So that's what we're going to do together. So if you want, just go over to tribeupacademy.com/TikTok-ads-workshop, and we're going to learn this together. All right. So Florida, thanks for joining us. And that's what we do every Sunday night. And, it's good hanging out with you guys right now. And of course, moving forward, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them on any of my videos on YouTube. And I'm going to bring it over and answer them over here on Sunday night sessions like this. So thank you so much for joining me. All right. And I'll see you next week. Good night. Bye-bye.